I was given one of these snake cube puzzles, and I thought this would be a cool thing to make out of wood myself. It consists of all of these cubes that you can rotate, and the way it works is there's a string going through all of them, and I experimented with this prototype for making my own. So each block has a string going through it, and the corner blocks have a string going through it around the corner. Now for the straight blocks, it's pretty easy to just feed that string through, but for the blocks where the string goes around a corner, if I make the hole just big enough for the string, it becomes just about impossible to feed through that corner. So what I could do is make the holes a whole lot bigger, and in this cube that's pretty much what they did, because you see how these tend to line up quite like that. But I want to figure out a better method. So my thinking is to drill a shallow hole and then another hole at 45 degrees, and the edge of this hole is about in the middle, so that the string still comes out in the middle, so you don't get these blocks like wanting to misalign like here. So of this puzzle, some of them are straight through, and that would be this and this. And I'll flip the colors around and just mark which ones I need. Got all my straight blocks drilled, and these are going to be the corner blocks. So I went with a slightly larger drill, and I set the depth stop so these only go part way in. "45-degree holes are always tricky, so I made this jig which guides the drill up here, and then I put the blocks down here to drill through them. I partially melted that knot to make sure it wasn't going to slip, being careful not to melt the string. And this is the end block. I'm going to put a plug in here so I can start threading this thing up. Let's see, next one's a straight dark one. There's one. Followed by a light corner. Followed by a dark corner, and so on. So here's my version. I'm holding the string with a vice grip right now. Getting that knot in there is going to be a bit of a challenge, and it seems to be working. It isn't quite as flexible as the other one because the holes inside are a lot smaller. I took it all apart again because I figured I should probably put some varnish on there so it won't get too finger greased. But the trick is how. If I brush it on there, I think it'll just get into all the holes, so I'm going to try dabbing it. I think a lot of you are about to comment, "You should use a spray gun." Well, I don't like to use spray inside my house, and it's too cold outside. Now comes the tricky bit. I think there's pretty much no way I can get that knot into that hole while everything is really tight. So what I've actually done is I split this block in two, and this gives me a whole lot more slack to get that knot in there, and then afterwards I'll pry it apart and put the block back in. But even so, I can't just pull it tight from here, so I have to get this thing tight here And then one at a time, push the blocks over to tighten that string along the whole chain. And now I can partially melt that knot to make sure it never moves. The next challenge, of course, is solving it, and I'll include some hints for how to solve it on my website. Just click the link in the description.